I'm always amazed by the motivation and the mental strength job seekers have and the trap that they fall into to really test the limits. And what do I mean by this? On average, I speak to about 50 people a day. And I have that exposure because of the company that I run. And from the 50 people I speak to, I'd say the majority have been applying for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Very rarely do I speak to someone who applies for more than a year, but it does happen. And then when I really dig into the numbers, I find out that people spend 10 to 15 hours a week. They make about 5 applications per day, and they do this consistently. Usually, they do this every single day because they have this pain, which is I need to pay my bills. I need to do the job that I've spent all this time and money and energy in university to learn how to do, or I'm switching careers because AI has taken my job, and I need to get into a role. So they're consistent, they're putting the work in. But what amazes me quite a lot of the time is how much they do this for and how long they do it without seeing a single result. We're talking a zero interview result. Like they haven't spoken to a human being for 7 months to do with their job search. They haven't spoken to a hiring manager. They haven't spoken to a head of HR. They haven't spoken to a recruiter. They haven't had a genuine response to their application. Like they're just getting auto rejection after auto rejection after auto rejection, and they're all the same. Like, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we're not going to go with you. We're going to go with another candidate. And there's no feedback. There's no real, reasoning behind it. It's just not for you, not today. Thank you. Bye. Or computer says no. And it amazes me how people continue to do this day in, day out for months on end. And I really need to highlight why, because I've got my theory about it, and there's an actual term for this, and I don't want you to fall into the same trap. Now, the term is called the sunken cost fallacy. Sunken cost fallacy is basically where your brain is tricked into continuing to do the same thing over and over again because you've spent time, energy, and or money, in most cases both or all three, to actually continue to do it. Now, what do I mean? University students that have spent 5, 6 years studying a particular discipline and have spent a particular amount of money, let's say like $50,000, $100,000, whatever it is, they are more likely going to spend the time, energy, and effort to continue that investment after the investment's made. So if you spent that amount of money and time into a specific discipline, you are more likely going to effectively try to get that job after, right? So if you're studying medicine and you've done it for 7 years and you've spent $200,000, you're not going to now decide to become an architect. You're going to continue down the route of medicine because you have invested time, money, and energy into that discipline. That's a very specific analogy. Now, I want you to think about the analogy that comes into play when it comes to job search. You have spent 3 months, 6 months, 9 months doing the same thing, and you cannot break away from it. No matter how much you know logically, when something doesn't work, rather than you shifting and pivoting and trying to assess if there's something better that you can do, you will stick at it. Your brain will kind of use the same medicine analogy I've given you to continue doing what you've done. You've spent so much time. You've spent those 20-hour weeks. You've applied to hundreds of jobs. You have spent so much time and money and energy and nerves to actually not want to break away from it. Your brain will not break away from the concept of, hey, I've invested all of this, whatever this is, into this, that I cannot break away from this pattern. If I break away from this pattern, I will confirm to myself that all of that time has been wasted. All of that energy invested has gone nowhere. And I get it, because nobody wants to feel and confirm the fact that they've wasted their time and money and energy. That's the worst feeling ever, I'm sure. But if you stick to the path, it's worse. Because imagine that you've spent 6 months applying for jobs and you've applied for 15 jobs a day and you are desperate. You are unemployed. You've got bills to pay. Your family's depending on you. But your pride and your sunken cost fallacy is magnetizing you, tying you into this loop of doom, which is, I've spent all of this time. I cannot break away from it. I will not come to terms with the fact that I've spent all this time, energy, and money into doing this, and I cannot confirm that it hasn't worked, that I've wasted it. I just can't do it. I have to carry on. Imagine how crazy that sounds. And imagine how many of us do the same thing. Job seekers are the easiest to fall prey to this because this gives you unique exposure to, no, I've spent so much time and energy. I cannot break away from it. The job's around the corner. Other people are getting jobs. And the reason it's so easy to fall into this trap is because you can get a job by applying. It's not impossible. It's just so stacked against you that the market saturation issue has become such a big issue that you're playing the lottery. So it's like you playing a lottery and buying a lottery ticket every single week and every single day and every single hour and maybe every single 20 minutes, that you cannot come to terms with the fact that you've spent all this time and money into this lottery that you know you're going to win one day, and then you don't win it, but you still carry on because you cannot come to terms with the costs. If you think about gamblers, I think they suffer from the same thing. Like, think about someone going to a roulette wheel in a casino or playing blackjack or any gambling game you know of. They would have spent hundreds, if not thousands of pounds, and they're chasing the win because they have fallen prey to that sunken cost fallacy. I've spent this money, I need to win it back. I have spent this time, I need to make sure that I win it back by justifying to myself that it wasn't for nothing. Like, success is around the corner. And the risk, obviously, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this, but the risk is carrying on for another 6 months. And the cost of the next 6 months isn't just time, it's the salary you missed out on. It's the time you've spent, which is attributed to a market value cost of your hourly rate in the job. It's also time away from family. It's also time away from life, because nobody wants to job hunt their whole life, right? It shouldn't be something you do for more than a couple of weeks, realistically. Like, who wants to job hunt for 3, 4, 5, 6 months? It sounds like a really bad way to spend your time. So understanding that the sunken cost fallacy not only affects your mental health, it affects your perception of time, it affects your perception of investment as well, because your time and energy and life force is the most expensive thing you own, right? It's the most valuable thing you own. And you're throwing it away because of this fallacy that is sticking you to it. It's like you've been zombified, right? And I want this video to be a real wake up, like, pivot, because the stuff that hasn't been working, here's a way to break out of it. And I've been thinking as I'm doing this video, because when I do these videos, I don't always plan them. I kind of want to talk about something that I know is an issue and what I think about it. And I've struggled with this one because it's so easy to fall prey to it. If you had to start from today and you had information to know what doesn't work, would you choose that path? So it's like a 0-day thing. Today you start again, and you know there's 5 things you can do. You know one of them doesn't work. Do you explore the 4 other things that do, or do you just stick to that one? I think that will break you out of the zero cost fallacy. And that's the biggest trap you need to think about. I hope this video helps, because a lot of you struggle with this, and I don't want you to struggle with it. Like, subscribe, do your thing. I'll see you on the next one.